Good morning, my name is Chris, and I would like to start by thanking you all for coming and supporting Catholic Charities, one of the greatest organizations that I've had the privilege to be around. When I was little, I took everything for granted. I took having a home for granted. I took having a bed for granted. I took warm meals for granted. I never knew how valuable all these things were until I lost them. When I was 5 years old, my mom left. It hurt a lot, and my dad and I began moving around, trying to find a place that we could call home. But we could never find it. The closest we came to a home when I was 10 and we were living in Jacksonville, Florida. My dad homeschooled me, and I learned a lot about what it means to be a man from him. But those good times ended, and things got really tough for a few years. Eventually, we ended up going to California with no money, no work, and no place to go. My dad began calling around, trying to find work, and he found his dream job, a carpet sales position in Petaluma. We drove up and stayed in a tent in the KOA campground there. We had just enough to stay there until his first paycheck. Well, the job fell through, and after 3 weeks, we were out of money and homeless. I think the scariest part about being homeless is not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow. You may have food in your hand now and a place to sleep tonight, but you have no idea if you will tomorrow. It really makes you scared for a future that should be bright and joyful. We went to a resource center in Petaluma, and they told us about Catholic Charities Family Support Center. When we first walked through the door, I was scared, ashamed, and confused. I could tell my dad felt like he was letting me down, and it was tearing him up inside. The caseworker at Family Support Center told us that it was completely full up, and my heart sank. But fortunately, they found room for us at one of Catholic Charities' other smaller shelters. For the first time in 2 months, I had a bed to sleep in and a decent meal to eat. The next morning, I felt relief that I hadn't felt in a long time. The staff at Catholic Charities showed us everything that we should be doing to get out of our situation. They told us how to apply for food stamps and affordable housing, something me and my dad had never had to do before and were completely clueless about. They provided financial counseling for my dad, and they encouraged me to go back and finish high school. We had moved to California during my senior year in high school, and I was planning on dropping out. I didn't see a point in going back to school when I had no future whatsoever, but I went. Going to high school while living in a homeless shelter is torturous. I found myself intentionally trying not to make friends so that I wouldn't have to keep making excuses as to why I couldn't hang out. It seems like teenagers only want to do stuff after 9, and that's hard to do when curfew's at 8. But I got through it, and after about 3 months, I received my high school diploma and finished high school with a 3.08 overall GPA. I was the first male in my family to graduate. Thank you. During my spring break, I knew that I wanted to give back to Catholic Charities, the place that had given me so much. I decided to ask the Miss Awesome Jenny Lynn Holmes if there was anywhere I could volunteer around Family Support Center. She directed me towards helping in the computer lab, teaching people how to fill out resumes online. I absolutely loved it. The clients were also friendly, and they welcomed me as one of their own. The good feeling that I had every night was indescribable. And there was nothing I wanted to do more than go and volunteer again over the summer. After I graduated high school, I went back to Family Support Center and to continue my volunteer work, and they offered me a paid position to do exactly like what I was planning on to do for free. Like I was going to say no? I love my job and the people I work with. Everyone here is so great, and they all have become mentors that I can really look up to. Jenny Lynn, our Family Support Center director, has become like a mom figure to me. She gives me advice, and she's one of the most caring people I've ever met. Chuck Fernandez, our executive director, has always taken time to help me find the path through life that'll suit me, giving me examples of his own experiences to help me. After working at Catholic Charities, I realized that this was something I wanted to do as a career in life. It was something that I could study in college. The fact that I'm even talking about college here before you amazes me to this day. College was something that I thought was completely out of reach. After all, college cost thousands of dollars, and money had always been a little scarce. But I qualified for financial aid, and now I'm enrolled in Santa Rosa Junior College full-time, and I'm planning to transfer to Sonoma State to receive my master's in sociology. I want to become a social worker and help others get out of what me and my dad had to go through. My dad is doing amazingly well, too. He never could find a job, but instead he's doing something he's always wanted to do for 30 years, go to college. He's a straight-A student, and I couldn't be any prouder of him. I think he's the greatest man in the world, and I love him with every inch of my heart. Recently, my dad and I moved into a brand new apartment thanks to Catholic Charities. We can stay there as long as we want to, paying only what we can afford in rent. It feels great to know that I have a place that I can truly call home. I no longer take things like this for granted because I know what it is to have nothing. Thanks to Catholic Charities, I can now look forward to that bright and joyful future that I always hoped for but never thought was possible. I love Catholic Charities, and I hope you will too.